Hello everybody. Had to record this again because I don't know what happened to my videos on Instagram earlier. All three of them are gone, plus my live video. But anyways, let's start from the beginning. So I got pregnant in late May. The second shutdown hadn't even happened yet. I was still working. I had just found out, but everything so far had just been pretty normal. A couple of weeks went by and I started spotting. I thought that I was losing the baby again, so I went to the ER. Turns out I just had a UTI. They did an ultrasound. They found a cyst and told me to tell my OB. I was waiting for Medi-Cal to kick in. I didn't have one. So I found a clinic that would take me and deal with my prenatal needs until Medi-Cal went through. They did a thorough ultrasound of the baby, made sure the heartbeat was still there with everything that had been happening. Everything was good on that part, and then they also found the cyst. And the doctor wasn't in, and they didn't have a radiologist, so they were just like, we can't approve the report until the doctor sees it, but as soon as she does, we can send it over to you if you haven't already gotten your Medi-Cal by then. I was like, okay, cool. I finally got my Medi-Cal. The people hadn't called me back yet with the report. And I figured since they had it, I would just tell my doctor and then just have another ultrasound anyways, because it's part of pregnancy, right? And so I told them, I said, hey, listen, I've been having some bleeding. I've been having some cramps. I'm really uncomfortable. I can barely eat. I'm always throwing up. Sometimes this pain specifically is so bad, I'm throwing up more on top of that. I went to another place. They told me I had a cyst. Went to emergency, had a cyst. So their answer to that was, well, sometimes you get a cyst in early pregnancy during insemination. I said, okay, I understand that. Listen to everything that they said. And I was like, however, I was already months pregnant by the second ultrasound. She was like, well, sometimes it's still normal. So she was like, we'll still get you an ultrasound though. We'll get you some blood work done and find out what else is happening with you. And if you hear noises in the background, those are my kids living their lives. But anyways, so she orders everything that I need, or my doctor orders it, because that's the first person they see the first time I go to my OB is my doctor and a nurse. The nurse tells me he's ordering all these things. But I tell him when he gets in there what had happened. So he hears it, she hears it, they write it down, but she's the one that's talking to me. Wait for the blood test, get that done. I still haven't heard anything about the ultrasound. I don't hear anything until my next appointment. So I'm like, hey, guys, I'm still uncomfortable. I'm still bleeding. I'm still in pain. I had to quit my job. What the French toast? And she's like, and this time I'm seeing a midwife. And she's like, oh, well, let me check on that for you. She's like, well, we called them. They must be backed up, so you can call them yourself. Okay, but isn't that your job? Whatever. I'll call them. Call them. I book my ultrasound. I get my ultrasound. I tell her everything that happens when I finally am there. She's like, great, I'll look for you. We'll write a report and get you back to your doctor. Awesome. She checks me out. She finds a cyst, just like I had been saying, right? She's like, oh yeah, I can see it's pretty good size. Okay, cool. Measures the baby. Everything's fine. She's like, I'll put everything in my report. You're absolutely right. She even took a picture of my cyst. Okay, she took a picture of it because she was like, yeah, you're not crazy. You have one. And I've had them too. They're incredibly uncomfortable. I know exactly what you're going through. Whatever. Wait a few weeks. went to my prenatal appointment yesterday. She's like, how are you doing, Miss Louise? And I'm just like, I don't feel good. I'm in pain. I'm always in bed because I can't do anything. Sometimes the pain is so bad, I throw up. I'm exhausted because I can't ever eat and I throw everything up. And I'm just really uncomfortable. This pain is debilitating and crippling. So, did they find out what it was? She's like, oh yeah, let me look. You just had your 20-week anatomy scan. I'm like, yeah. And while she's doing this, she's explaining to me for the second time, or third time now, that it's round ligament pain. That if it's really bad, that maybe I'm just sensitive to pain. The more babies you have, the more difficult it can be. Muscles stretching, blah, blah, blah. Making any excuse for the pain that I'm feeling. And I'm just looking at her with my mask, just like, okay. She's like, oh, look right here. Here's your results. She's reading, she's scrolling, and she's like, there's nothing there. I'm sorry, what? There's, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? She's like, it says that it's all clear. Your ovaries are clear. Your uterus is good. So, like I said, pretty sure there's nothing wrong with you because there's nothing in the report. Okay. Cool. That's nice that you think that there's nothing wrong with me. However, ma'am, when I was with the ultrasound tech, she did find something. She showed it to me and she was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a cyst. I've had one before. I'm going to put it in my report. And she was like, well, I don't know why she'd say that. She's not a medical professional. She shouldn't have done that. Okay, but she did though. She saw it. I saw it. We seen it. She's like, well, then it just must have not been big enough or an issue for her to report. So like I said, pretty sure your pain is just from your growing belly. And due to the amount of number of kids you've had. What? It's an old white woman telling me what my pain could be. And I'm just looking at her like, no, you didn't. No, ma'am, no. And if I've had so many kids, then don't you think I would know when something doesn't feel right since I'm a professional? And no, I'm not a sensitive pregnant woman because I've had 3 kids vaginally with no pain meds, no epidural, nothing, all natural. So if I can do it 3 times, I would say I'm good with pain, right? That being said, even if I'm good with pain, if I'm telling you that I'm in pain, that it hurts so much I had to quit my job, then why the fuck does it matter how many kids I've had? Why does it fucking matter if I've done any deliveries without pain meds? I'm telling you for months that I'm in pain, that I don't feel good, that I can't live my life because of the pain I'm in and the things it's causing to happen to me. And she's just, well, I mean, even if you are bleeding, sometimes that happens. It's a part of pregnancy. You should know that. So she's still not listening to me. And I'm like, look, I don't know what else to do because I don't feel good. Just like, well, the best I can do for you is order you a belly band to help hold and support your stomach. Why did that bitch really think a belly band is my solution when I've been complaining for months about how much pain I'm in. And she's just like, well, what are you doing when you're in pain and you're bleeding and stuff? Like, and I'm like, I lay down because I can't do anything. I sit down and I rest. And she's just like, okay, well, good. You're doing all the right things then because you know better. Okay, but obviously that's not working, right? Because I'm still bleeding. I'm still in pain. I'm still cramping. I still cannot work. And I'm vomiting because the pain's so bad. I can't take care of my other kids because of what I'm dealing with. She's like, well, like I said, there's nothing in the report, so I can't really say that there's anything wrong with you. So I ask her, what should I do then? She's like, well, I mean, if the pains are really that bad, hun, you should go to the ER. So it's your medical professional opinion that I should go to the ER now? Because of my symptoms that I've been telling you about for months? You're barely telling me now and I'm 6 months pregnant. Now? She was like, no problem with what she was saying whatsoever. And I'm just looking at her like, okay. So I go to the ER. They think I'm in labor. I tell them I'm not in labor. They send me up to labor and delivery to check the baby. And I'm 24 weeks pregnant now. Or something. 6 months pregnant. And I understand the baby's small. But she used a rinky-dink little microphone at the office and was able to hear the heartbeat. But I'm in the ER and they have all these fancy-ass gadgets and machines. And they can't find her heartbeat for a long time. I'm trying not to panic, because I'm only alone in the middle of labor and delivery with absolutely nobody to hold my hand or tell me that it's going to be okay. And they all keep looking at me like I'm crazy. And it feels like Get Out. All these white people are just looking at you like you're crazy. And you're like, I'm not crazy. I'm really in pain. Listen to me. Anyways, they find her heartbeat. She's fine. I get monitored for half of the day. Send me back to the ER. The doctor comes out. She's like, oh, Vanessa, I've been waiting for you. I heard what's been happening. Please tell me what's going on. I tell her everything. I'm crying now because I'm just so fed up. She puts her hand on my stomach and she's like, I'm going to give you the answers that you need. You deserve answers and you're not going to leave here today without them. Thank you so much. What else can I say? She orders an ultrasound. I get it done. Immediately, she finds the cyst that I've been talking about. She puts it in the nodes. She's like, oh yeah, it's a pretty good size and it's in your right ovary. Like it's literally obstructing like the tube to it. Whatever. She makes the report. She gives it to my doctor. They send me out. The doctor runs out to me and is like, Miss Louise, you're not crazy. There is something there. You were right. It's about 4 centimeters big. It's as big as a Ritz cracker. That's what's causing you all this pain. I'm not saying we can do anything. I don't want to because you're pregnant, but you need to see your regular doctor because he or she needs to make a plan for you. It's pretty big and it needs to be dealt with. Your doctor, you need to be seen in the next available appointment they have. And she tells me to take care. Stay in bed. So now I have an appointment on Monday with an actual doctor. And after posting my video about this yesterday and hearing everything you guys had to say, my followers on Instagram and Facebook, I found out that I'm not the first woman that this has happened to at this doctor's office. And it really makes me upset because the first person to actually take me seriously was another woman of color. My doctor at the ER was a small Asian woman, young, that listened to me, that validated for the first time that I was in pain, that something was wrong. Well, all these other nurses coincidentally who happened to be white didn't believe me or gave me attitude or made excuses for my pain. And you know, I've dealt with racism and prejudice at work my whole life. And you never really think that that's what's really happening to you, that people are being prejudiced to you based on what you look like or what kind of situation you look like you're in. And I just play back little tiny details like, oh, are you married? I didn't even ask you. I put single. You know? Or wow, 4 kids. The more kids you have, the more painful it is. Like, not one person listened to me in 5 months. They need to do better. My husband's livid because he's just like, what if it was something worse? You're my wife. That's my baby. Like, what if something horrible happened? What if I lost you? What if we lost her? And they would have just been like, oh, she died from round ligament pain. It's so infuriating because I trusted those people to take care of me. And for a second, I even was like, am I being dramatic? Is this pain really that bad? Even though every mom I talk to is like, no, baby girl, no, mija, that's not normal. You need to keep telling them something. And having to go to all of my appointments alone and not having somebody else to be like, yeah, she's in pain, or yeah, it's really bad sometimes. This year has just sucked on so many levels. And so on Monday, when my husband and I go to the doctor's office, we will be giving them a piece of our mind. We'll be filing a grievance. We'll be complaining and trying to find a new OB and gynecologist to take care of me and deliver my baby. Oh God, Monday literally can't come soon enough. I'm just glad that she's okay. Nothing's wrong with her. She is stressed out because of my stress, but she's fine. And I will keep everybody updated after Monday when I go and see what happens. But I just wanted to say thank you to all the women who messaged me and shared their stories, and all the people who don't think that I'm crazy and that my pain's validated. Thank you. Because it's been really hard just repeating myself and repeating myself and repeating myself, which is why I'm making this video. Because I just can't keep texting it. If you want to know, then watch the video. But yeah, thank you to everybody who has reached out to me. It really means so much to me. And I will keep you guys posted and updated on everything that happens.